Have you ever saved all year for that one family vacation and ended up stressed out about every single dollar?
Not anymore. Hi, I'm Mary Ellen.
And I'm Jo. We're two busy moms who have cracked the code on travel with points and miles.
We're here to show you how we turn everyday expenses into extraordinary vacations.
This is Wonderland on Points, where we share tips and tricks to help you earn free and deeply discounted travel.
Let the adventure begin. Welcome back, everybody. This is Wonderland on Points, presented by Yahoo Travel. And if you have not yet signed up for the Why Wonder newsletter, we really hope you will do that. We send the newsletter twice a week. You can find the link in our show notes. We're going to get to today's episode, but I just wanted to say that first because there are still some people out there who I know love our podcast but haven't signed up yet.
Yeah, and guys, we've been having a lot of fun with this because it's really expanded a little bit outside of just traditional points and miles to like how you can budget hack certain things. I just wrote one about Universal Studios and some of the tactics I use to save money inside the parks. So it's really kind of a broad overview about just saving money for your family in travel. And we had a lot of fun. It's our personalities and our voices popping into your inbox, and they're nice, short, easy reads with lots of helpful links. So anyways, we would love to see you over there. But today we are so excited to have Jen from Dive Into Points back with us to talk.
She's a regular now.
She is a regular. She is a recurring guest. And we are so excited because I have been waiting for this episode, because when you told us about this last time you were here, I started looking into it and I was like, this is a trip for me and my husband. This is one. It was so wildly affordable. It looked stunning. So, Jen, welcome back. Please introduce yourself again to anybody new who might not have heard you in the past, and then we'll dig into where you went.
Yeah. So hi, everyone. I'm Jen. Thank you very much for having me back. Always so fun to talk to you too. I am a mom of 3, so I have twin 5-year-old boys, which is just pure chaos, and then a 7-year-old daughter. And we live in western Wisconsin, so just over the border from Minnesota. Born and raised in Minnesota, but live on a little hobby farm now, and we've got bees and chickens and pigs and all of the fun stuff.
Yes. I didn't know any of that.
Yes. So I spent Memorial Day weekend planting my garden. We have an orchard. We are like living our little farm life.
What kind of trees?
We have 6 apple trees. We have pear trees. We have cherry trees.
You're living my dream life.
Yes. As long as I can get my goats and a Highland cow someday, I will be fulfilled.
What about ducks? Ducks? Do you have ducks?
We don't have ducks. We did have turkeys one year, but ducks would be fun. Yeah.
I hear they're great for garden pests.
Yes. So we just had fun extracting honey and got like 20 jars of honey from our bees. And so, yes, we have this funny little life over here. And then I do wedding photography and travel a lot. So busy.
Oh my gosh, we learned something new every time you're here. I'm coming to visit the hobby farm, by the way, just saying.
And everybody, anytime. If you want to meet Jen, because obviously she sounds like all of our best friend at this point. We love all of these things. You are coming to our girls trip in New Mexico. We're going back, everybody, to Albuquerque next spring. You can also find information about that in the show notes in our Facebook group. And you are coming, Jen. I'm so excited. You already have your room, you have your flights and everything.
Yep, I am all booked. Husband is aware. It's on the calendar, and we are ready to go.
Yay. This is actually very impressive because for some people, planning April of next year is quite a stretch. They're like, I don't know what's going to be happening in my life next April. So the fact that you have everything booked, I love it. And everybody, we will put the interest form in the show notes. There's still space. I mean, technically anyone can come. Space is kind of determined by when all of the award rooms are gone. And we have no idea of knowing when that is. You'll just have to experiment. You have the opportunity to get into our Facebook group after you fill out the interest form, and maybe you could find a roommate. Time to make new friends. It's going to be like camp. Girls trip
And thankfully,
camp.
this Hyatt was not hit too hard with the devaluation. So if you're like, oh no, I wish I would have booked it before, May 20th when the prices went up. I think it only went up 1,000 points a night, maybe. So it wasn't one that it's like, oh no, it went up 20,000 points or something. So,
which it totally could have.
It could have. And it could be a perfect one if you have a free night award for a category 1 through 4.
Oh, yes. Guys, it's going to be so awesome. We're so excited to meet so many of you. And so definitely fill out the form if you think you're interested. It's April of next year, I believe the 7th through 10th. Yes?
That sounds right to me.
Okay.
Well, let's get into what we're going to chat about today, and that is the Kimpton Roatán in Honduras. So this property is about 40 miles off the northern coast of Honduras in the Western Caribbean. And I'm pretty sure, Jen, you got a direct flight there, or did you need to connect first?
We connected in Miami.
Okay.
So we flew, our closest main airport is Minneapolis. We flew on American from Minneapolis to Miami. And then we actually had a 24-hour layover. It was just how it worked out to be able to find a good flight on points. So we flew out early on a Saturday morning, had a full day in Miami, and then flew to Roatán the next Sunday morning around 10 a.m. So it was almost exactly a full 24 hours. So I'll go on a little side tangent. Because that's how our flights worked out, my husband was not super thrilled that we were going to spend a day in Miami. I was like, I'm going to make it worth it to you. And I used as many credit card perks as I could to see if I could get a over-the-top fun day for free in Miami.
So
yes.
fun.
So we used a category 1 through 4 night certificate and stayed at the Hyatt Regency Coral Gables, which sadly, womp womp, is now a category 5.
Oh, no, the worst.
I know, bummer, but it was gorgeous. It was lovely. Had a free night there. We went to lunch and used our Resi credit at an amazing Greek restaurant that we could walk to right from the hotel.
Wow.
In this charming little area with rooftop bars and all these little shops, like very high end. But when we're using a Resi credit, we didn't mind. It was almost covered our entire lunch. And then we did the same for dinner. We went to the most incredible Italian restaurant for dinner. My husband, and we used our Chase Sapphire Reserve Open Tables credit from my Chase Sapphire Reserve card and got this incredible filet mignon and dinner and all of this. And my husband was so happy. We spent the afternoon at the pool, $0 out of pocket. And I used our Black Lane credit from my City Strata Elite for our transportation to the hotel. So we just stacked and literally a $0 day, all covered by perks from annual fees from these cards.
I love everything about this. This is so fun. It's kind of how I feel on my birthday or my birthday week when I just go around trying to get all the free things that everybody gives you for your birthday.
Yes. So it ended up being like a great intro into vacation. We were gone for 5 nights then instead of 4. It felt like a little bit longer. It gave us basically an extended date day to spend a whole day together. It was so lovely.
And with 3 kids at home, that is very needed. Date days are hard to come by.
So I was like, this is perfect. Built into vacation, date day, because I knew our vacation was going to be busy with diving and some other things. So it was just like a nice, relaxing day.
Honestly, that's way better than like 5 or 6 hours in an airport. Just, you know, a lot of people would shy away from a 24-hour, but you made the most of it, and I'm obsessed. All right, next.
All right, back to the flights. So booked these on American Airlines. I looked at Alaska to see if I could get them on Atmos. Our dates, they were not available. But it was 22,500 points per person in first class.
This
So,
is wild. I looked up flights as soon as you were gone the last time, and there are so many deals to Rotan, like really
yes,
good, affordable flights. I was blown
yes,
away. But 22,000 in first class is so fun. How was that
yes.
experience?
It was lovely. We would have probably done economy because the flights actually are not that long. Each one was about 3 hours, but they did not have two seats in economy, but they had two seats in first class.
Oh,
Oh, well, they
So I
forced
was
your
like,
hand.
you're just making me fly first class. So we did that for both there and back. So it was 22,000 each way per person. Doing all the math, it was 90,000 points round trip for both of us in first class. But
okay.
the flights were over almost $3,000 if we had paid cash. So,
So
yeah,
good.
yes. So would do it again in a heartbeat. Those points came from my City Strata Elite that I had opened last December that I mentioned with that Black Lane credit. And I still had some left over. So that it just felt like the perfect fit to use those.
I
Yeah.
love that you were able to use that Black Lane credit because I have looked into it a couple times. I did use it in December before the end of the calendar year, but it really wasn't the best deal. I used it in New York City. We weren't going very far. I just kind of used it to use it, but I have been
Yeah.
looking this year and it's like, man, almost everything I look at is like $200. The credit's only $100. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to pay an extra $100. But if you can find a way to use it and make it reasonable, then that's awesome.
Yeah. And that's, again, we would never pay this out of cost. It was $94 for a 15-20 minute ride from the airport to the hotel. But
Mm,
instead of paying the $25 for an Uber,
Right?
we paid zero because it was covered. So again, my husband felt fancy. He got picked up in the like black Suburban and the it was a lovely ride, but not in my opinion something I would pay $95 on ever. But we paid zero instead of paying the 25 for an Uber or a Lyft.
love it.
It's really fun that this trip combined so many different cards. I mean, you have your Amex cards. I'm not sure with your Resi credit whether it was Amex Gold or Amex Platinum, but you have your Amex cards, you use your Chase Sapphire Reserve, and you use your City Strata Elite to kind of combine all the things. And that's what we tell people. It's good to have these very flexible, transferable point currency cards, and all of those are ultimately at all the major banks so that you can kind of mix and match perks and benefits to make really cool things happen.
Yes, absolutely. And a lot of these for me is not going to be worth keeping all of them forever with the annual
Mhm.
fees. It's the City Strata Elite in particular. We opened in December to get that splurge credit 3 times, and it makes that annual fee worth it. And then, you know, full transparency, we'll probably close it, or downgrade it. But right now, while we have them, we're trying to maximize them, and it worked out
Yep.
great.
Guys, a few notes. First was something that I was thinking of while you were talking about looking on Alaska. And that is that I have noticed recently, it has happened to me 4 times, that when I have looked for flights on Alaska on the mobile app, it has told me no flights for your dates. We don't have anything for this. And then I have gone to my browser on my computer and they have been there. So I just
What?
wanted to, yes, it happened 4 times. It started because I had put in a search on Poinsia and it was telling me there was an Alaska flight. And I was on my phone looking for it and it was like, no, there's not. And I was like, what? And sometimes there is, like, it's not there, it's not real. But I went to the browser on my computer and there it was. Like I used points. Yeah, I clicked the link that because they will, when they show you a search, they'll give you a link to go directly to it. And when I clicked on it, it opened on the Alaska website, even though my phone said it wasn't there. And so this has now happened multiple times. So I just want to throw that out there. Even if you look on your phone and it says there's nothing, give it a shot on your computer as well, because I have actually booked several flights that I initially thought didn't exist. So that
Interesting.
side tangent. Another thing that we want to mention is there are a couple of cities with nonstop flights to Roatan, which is amazing. Atlanta, Miami, Houston, DFW, Minneapolis, and Denver, but that one could be ending in August. So a great idea if you're looking for nonstop routes, or even if you're not sure where to start searching with your points availability, is to start, in my opinion, with Google Flights and see where those nonstop routes exist from. And then you can figure out, okay, is this Delta? Is this American? And then from there, you can look up your points availability there and then branch out to partners. If it's Delta, you might end up looking on like Flying Blue or Virgin Atlantic. And then, like we said, if it's American, you might check out Alaska to see if there's any Atmos availability. So there are many, many options for Roatán, and I think it's so interesting that they're so cheap when this feels like such a like luxury paradise place. I never hear anyone talk about it.
Yeah, agreed. And it is way more affordable than a lot of Caribbean locations in terms of not just the flights, but the food and everything, which I know we will talk about,
Yes.
is far more affordable than going to somewhere like Turks and Caicos or St. Martin or some of the other places we've been in the Caribbean. So much more affordable overall.
I'm so excited to dig into this. And I have to be honest, I have the Andaz Papagayo booked for next May, but I am so very tempted to save those Hyatt points for something else and do this instead, because it really seems very similar in terms of like jungly vibes, like Costa Rica, which is definitely what we were going for. My husband loves that kind of thing. So, excited to hear all of the details, all your thoughts on the property. Have you been to the Andaz Papagayo?
I have not, no.
Okay. I thought maybe if you had, we could do like a compare contrast, but it's fine.
Yes. We've been to Costa Rica, but that was pre-points of miles and did not stay anywhere nearly as nice.
Did you feel like the vegetation and the vibes were
Yes.
similar? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, well, this is a luxury IHG property. So, how many points per night did you guys pay for it? And did you get a fourth night free?
Yes, we did get a fourth night free. That is a perk with one of the cards I had opened last September, which was the Chase IHG Premier One card, which is a personal card. When I opened it, it had a 165K point welcome offer. So that coincidentally worked out very well because we ended up paying 160,000 points for 4 nights here.
Amazing.
So how that maths out is each night was averaging between 50 to 57,000 points. So the total for 3 nights was 160K. But then with the fourth night free, it averaged to 40,000 points per night.
This is so awesome. And guys, if any of you jumped on the Chase Sapphire Reserve, that also gives you IHG status. So that's kind of, I don't know what the status would necessarily get you. Maybe you experienced that. But that's kind of a fun overlap. I don't think many people go out searching for IHG status. And when I saw that as a benefit, I didn't think much of it because I don't stay at a lot of IHG hotels, but it is kind of fun if you're going to stay somewhere like a Kimpton.
Yes, and that card comes with Platinum Elite status.
Okay.
So if you have that IHG card, that also has that same status as well.
That's good to know. I was eyeballing and I missed it. I ended up going a different direction. But after you came on before, I was eyeballing the business card, which had a great elevated welcome offer at the time. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was definitely more than enough points, if I'm recalling correctly, to book this same property. So it seems like they have really good welcome offers periodically. And so if you're planning for this, keep your eyes on that. Try to pull, you can put into ChatGPT, you can ask it to give you all of the history of the elevated welcome offers on these IHG cards and try to help you predict when the next one would be. And sometimes it's shockingly accurate.
Yes, I was eyeing up that business one for my husband, but we went another direction as well. But I would highly consider it in the future for another return with our kids back to this property.
Ooh.
Or some other IHG properties.
Guys, one little fun tip about Kimptons that we haven't talked about Kimptons in a really long time. They do have a secret password that if you're ever staying at a Kimpton, always try to find out what the secret password is before you go. You give it to them at check-in, and they will give you, it's a pretty wide variety of perks. I mean, all kinds of things. It can be very practical things like free parking. It could be free drink tickets or a credit at the restaurant, various things. So I looked it up because I am staying at a Kimpton soon with my Chase Sapphire Reserve edit credits stacked with the IHG credits. And currently for this summer, I think through the end of August, it is in bloom and out of office. So when you check in and they're like, "Hi, how are you? Welcome. How are you?" You're going to say, "I'm great. I'm feeling in bloom and out of office." And then see what they give you. Have you ever done this, Jen?
Yes. So I think at one point it was like Life of a Kimpton Showgirl or something like that. So they do try and be very cute. So we did that and got a welcome drink. It was very busy when we were checking in. And so I think it's because a lot of the, like, or maybe not a lot, there's usually only 1 or 2 flights coming from the US per day.
Right.
So a lot of people are coming and checking in at the same time because those flights arrive around the same time. So we didn't really push for anything. We didn't push for an upgrade, any of that. We were just letting them do their job. And especially because it was just the 2 of us, we did book directly into a king bungalow room, which is the room we wanted. But when we said the password, they gave us a little welcome drink and a little coupon to go to the bar for a sunset cocktail later too.
Cute.
I'm going to feel ridiculous when I say it. I've got to get over my fear of just being so ridiculous. I know that they hear it, and they hear it probably every single day, numerous times a day, but it still feels, makes you feel so silly.
I like the idea of incorporating it into a sentence and not just being like, the secret password is. I think you should just drop it naturally.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know how you would throw that in with the showgirl comment, but some of them you could maybe. Yes.
Well, tell us about your bungalow. So you mentioned that you guys were in a king bungalow room, and that is what you looked into and what you wanted. So what was it about that room that made you seek it out?
Yes. So there's the setup at this hotel is there is what you would see as like a traditional hotel tower. So they have a lot of rooms that are more of a basic looking hotel room, but luxury, elevated, lovely. I don't mean basic like bare bones, but just a more standard layout. When my husband and I have the chance to do something unique, we usually try and take it. So the outside of this tower, they have these little bungalows that are nestled into the side of the hill, like in the jungle. And so it was the same number of points per night to book into one of those versus one of the standard rooms. So here's the pros and cons. We liked it. It was much more spacious. There's a little outdoor shower area in addition to your indoor bathroom and all of that. And a lot of your listeners are probably not scuba divers, but for us, having an outdoor space where we could rinse our equipment and leave it out there instead of having to have it take up all of the room in our shower or in our regular bathroom space was just a really nice perk for us that we had that just right there. We didn't have to worry about putting it outside where someone might take it or anything like that. It was really an extra perk for us. And it is a much larger room. So there was like full bed area. And then downstairs, like not a full flight of stairs, but down like 4 or 5 stairs, a lower level seating area and out to this huge, massive balcony with multiple little rocking chairs, and you're in the jungle. So it just felt more quiet, more peaceful, and we really loved it. The cons of it are if you are mobily challenged at all, it is going to be difficult. It is uphill. It is, like I mentioned, the stairs within the room itself, and then getting down to access the beach, getting to the main property is more of like a 5-minute walk and lots of stairs and trail type vibe. So I probably wouldn't do it if I had any mobility issues or if I was trying to move a stroller around in any way. No, thank you. Um, if, my parents would not love it. They're a little bit older. They got the creaks in their knees and all of that kind of stuff, and it would have been a lot for them. But it just is a fit for us, and we really enjoyed it.
This is very, very important to know. We definitely like to highlight places on properties that are accessible and places that are not. Did you feel like the rest of the property, if you were staying in that tower, was super accessible?
Yes. So there are a lot of levels and steps, but you can access everything if
Okay.
you have a mobility issue. So it's accessible. If you are not mobility challenged and you take some of the routes, there are lots of stairs, but you have access to ramps and all of the other things that you would need if you wanted to access anything.
Okay. I love this because the property we were just at in Puerto Vallarta, it was like built into the side of like a cliff. And so to get literally everywhere was uphill, downhill, steep steps going all through what felt like the jungle. And my husband and I loved it. We were just walking all over all the time, taking night walks on the stairs. And so this, I mean, we were literally like, how can we repeat this? It sounds perfect to me. Was it a big enough property that you felt like you could go on walks and wander and it wasn't like super repetitive?
Yeah, so we did not rent a car. When we landed, we actually there is a shared shuttle service that the hotel offers. You just have to email them ahead of time. There is a cost to it. I think it was $50 total for both of us.
Okay.
So not bad. And it is a little bit of a drive. I think it was around 45 minutes. So it would be a long taxi.
Hmm.
So I highly just recommend pre-booking that with the property. Um, but yeah, so we did not rent a car. We walked everywhere. The
Love.
property itself is not massive, but we spent hours just walking down the beach, exploring further little areas like down the road to find little one-off cafes, that kind of stuff. So you can explore and find other spots.
Oh, I love this so much. So you felt super safe it's not like
Oh, yes.
Cancun where you're like, you stay on this resort and you do not go outside the boundaries.
Oh, no, no, no. We spent most of our time off of the property.
Guys, I am so excited to tell you about this new partner because this is the most organic partnership that we have ever had. Because I don't know how many of you follow me on Instagram, but if you do, you saw my recent adventures on a boat in Puerto Vallarta where I spent the entire time laying on a couch so violently motion sick. The whole day was kind of ruined, and I felt really bad for everybody that had to keep checking on me, and I threw up multiple times. It was gross, okay? And I posted on Instagram about it, and Relief Band, which is the company we're telling you about today, reached out, and I am so excited to try Relief Band.
Yeah, if you guys are not familiar with Relief Band, this is an FDA cleared wearable. It looks kind of like a watch. You wear it on your wrist for nausea, and this is for car sickness, train sickness, air sickness, seasickness, amusement parks, even morning sickness for our pregnant mamas out there, people who are going through chemo who have nausea. If you get severe nausea from migraines, I mean, they market these things for all types of nausea, and you can put it on either beforehand to prevent nausea or even after the nausea has already started. GLP-1 med people who maybe are having some nausea side effects from that. Relief Band is something worth trying. It is FSA and HSA eligible. There is a 14-day money-back guarantee. They have free shipping over $50, which the cost of the band is over $50. So there's no reason not to try this because of the money-back guarantee. And we do have a discount code for you for 20% off. You can use code Wonderland at checkout and get yourself a discount. We are so pumped. They sent me one too, which was very, very sweet of them. And I'm taking it on every flight. I'm taking it to Norway this summer. We're going to be on a boat. Summertime is all about doing a lot of things that cause motion sickness. So we are pumped to try our relief bands. If you want to try them too, use the code Wonderland and let us know how it works out for you.
You can find the link to the Relief Band website in our show notes, and then make sure you enter that code Wonderland on checkout. We want to hear everybody's experiences. Get in the Facebook group and tell us. And now we'll get back to the episode. Guys, I'm like looking up what's the IHG business card right now. I'm gonna wait a little bit. I just got that.
You don't have to use IHG points. You could, as Mary Ellen said, use your new Chase Sapphire Reserve edit credit, stack it with that 250. Oh, you already used yours in Las Vegas, didn't you? Yes.
You're so on top.
I love that you already know that.
I was like, I heard this in an episode.
Yep, it's gone. I used both of them. That's correct. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you'll get a new $300 edit credit soon enough.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true.
Yep.
Okay, I was looking through your Instagram stories because I really love pools. And the pools here looked very beautiful. So tell us a little bit about the pool scene. And was it heated? What time of year did you go? I don't know if you felt the need for it to be heated. I've been to Honduras, but I was up in the mountains of Honduras. I wasn't at the beach. So what was the temperature like? And was it good for the pool life and all of that?
Yes. So every day we were there, it was about 82 and sunny, and got down to maybe 75 at night. So it was warm and humid the whole time. I don't know if they heated the pools, but it felt very warm. So either way, they were either heating them or just the fact that it was so warm outside. It was pleasant to be in the pool. Like, zero complaints on temp, and I'm kind of a baby about that.
Me too. I do not like chilly water. Okay. Mary Ellen will dive right in. I will not.
Yes. And there is a hot tub. We did not see many people using it just because I think it was so warm out and that kind of stuff. But I went in one morning at like 7 a.m. when it was still a cool 75. And it was very hot, glorious. So I would not say it's a massive pool area. There's some resorts that it's like 6 pools and all of this. This is one large area. The best part is that you can walk 10 steps out from the pool and you're on the beach. So if you've got a group or your spouse likes the beach and you like the pool, it's very easy to just kind of bounce between the two. And the beach itself is lovely, but you can see it right from the pool. And so I would even feel like if your kid is building a sandcastle or something, or you're on the beach and they're in the pool, depending on age, of course, it just made it very easily to enjoy both.
Okay, this is great information because there is a little disparity in my house about beach versus pool. It's an ongoing thing. I like the ocean. He thinks it's dirty. So what exact time you just recently went? So was this May?
Yes. Yes. So we were end of April. Sorry, I forgot that question earlier, Mary Ellen. But yes, the last week of April. And it was, I think, a really sweet spot of timing to go because it was out of that spring break timing. Mm-hmm. And then I think before summer travel. So it did not seem very busy. We only booked 2 months in advance. So we booked in February. This was very last minute. This was a pivot from a different plan, scrapped all of that, did this all last minute, which I think was also why some of the points nights were a little bit lower. We also went a Sunday night through a Thursday. So the points nights and the rates overall were lower than if we had stayed on a Friday or Saturday night.
Yep.
So if you have that flexibility, I think that's a way that you could potentially get some lower rate nights. Oh, Joanna's holding up her phone. What is it?
185 elevated bonus on the IHG Premier One right now. Just saying. I was trying to pull up I was trying to pull up the nights to see what the rates are like now for next April, just to compare and contrast, and it's giving me a limited time only offer on a personal card that I probably should not get because I need to pump the brakes on personal cards. Sorry guys, derailed. That would cover your whole trip.
Yes, but I did. So funny that you were looking. Last night I was looking at some rates kind of over at the calendar for the next year or so. And next spring looks very expensive. Like 100
Oh,
to 150 a night. But I think that's how they intro it, and then the rate goes down based on
okay.
how much they are booked. So that's where I think we got a really good deal because it was last minute. And there was a IHG runs these like promotions regularly. They were having an extra 15% off award bookings in the Caribbean
Oh,
when we booked.
okay.
So there's all those opportunities. And if you are set on going to this property, it would be really easy to book and keep an eye on that points value and potentially get some points back if you rebooked and you saw the points drop.
Yeah, for sure.
So I did look.
That's a
There was
huge tip.
some decent rates for this fall, like in the 50, 60, 70,000 per night, but next spring did look quite a bit more expensive, at least when I was peeking around last night.
Okay, that is good to know because I won't even bother looking it up to tell people because thank you for doing the research. I wonder what it's like in the fall,
Yeah,
weather-wise. That would be something to look up for sure. I wonder if they have a rainy season.
I would bet they do, just how tropical it is and the
Hmm.
jungle feel there, but not quite sure.
All
That's a
right.
question for AI.
It sure is a question for AI. So you mentioned how close the pool is to the beach, and I assume because you guys, like to dive and stuff, was this a swimmable beach? Could you just go right out into the ocean?
Oh, I am telling you, this was one of the best beaches we have ever stayed at. It was
Wow.
calm, calm, walkable, so much fun. And if you go 5 feet into the water, if you like snorkeling, there are fish and everything right there. You don't even have to go above your waist deep in the water. And we brought the GoPro. There was a little turtle. There's a little lobster out there. We saw people snorkeling at night. And that was a thing that if you get like a deep flashlight, a waterproof flashlight, there were tons of people snorkeling at night. We did not do that because we're old and I was tired. But we totally would have. Um, but it was one of the most stunning beaches. It was incredible.
Guys, I'm not going to Costa Rica. I'm sorry. Like, why would I spend 40,000 plus Hyatt points per night when I could get one card and go to this amazing sounding place instead? I'm not doing it. I can't even afford the food on that property.
I
I
feel
was
like
gonna
this
say,
is really high praise about the water and the swimmability of it all from you because you are a diver. You're a scuba diver. You've
yeah.
been all over the place and snorkeled and dove many, many places. So you're not somebody who doesn't have a lot to pull from. So for you to say that it is really fantastic is very high praise.
Mm.
Yes. And like, so this was the first time we did this, but my husband brought our drone on the trip to take some footage of the water from above. And he is high up in the air, and you can see the corals in the water. It is just that clear. It is beautiful. It is warm, at least in April when we went. The water felt very, very pleasant and warm. I don't know what we would change. It was lovely.
I want to go right now.
Are
Next
there
girls
a
trip.
lot of yes.
Yes. Forget the husband.
Are there a lot of activities on this property? I mean, it sounds like I know you said you did wander off the property to some little cafes, but it sounds like a I don't know, a smaller property kind of enclosed in the jungle here. So I'm thinking of larger resorts that have all kinds of activities that you can do. It doesn't quite sound like that, but were there a lot of activities? Because, I get bored easily. I don't sit well on the beach. So are there other things for me to do, or is this pretty much you're lounging and relaxing the whole time?
So there are some things. I would not say a lot. There are regular yoga classes. They have an evening happy hour that is complimentary with light snacks and wine, and you sit out on the deck and watch the sunset. This property, if you like sunsets, this is the property for you. The sun
Oh,
sets right over the water, right out from the property. One night we went and ate at the little beachfront grill, like casual dining on the property, watched the sunset. It was glorious. But the activities are pretty chill and low key.
Okay.
So, Mary Ellen, you would be doing the walk down the beach. You would be finding other things. There are a lot of fun things to do on the island. There is zip
Okay.
lining. There are a ton of animal sanctuaries. So there are like, Joanna, talk about going to Costa Rica. There are like sloth sanctuaries, monkeys, like all of that. We
Yes.
saw a bunch of macaws, like the beautiful bright red macaws just in the jungle.
Stop.
So
Like in the wild, you saw them?
yes, so they're from what the dive shop, our dive instructor was telling us is that there's one of those animal sanctuaries nearby, and the birds know that they come back usually at night, but they are not captive there.
Oh, I
So
love
they
that.
will go wander through the day, that kind of stuff. So we saw them twice while we were close to one of the animal sanctuaries, but we were not in the animal sanctuary itself.
I cannot describe to you guys the level of obsession that my husband and I have with animals and wildlife. We have this mutual love of like, we're both rescuing turtles off the road, and he's a big bird lover. I can see us being bird watchers in our old age. We want to go places where we are seeing interesting wildlife, and Costa Rica is always kind of famed for that, and this sounds just as good. I'm actually a little bit nervous to put out this podcast episode because I'm afraid all of you are gonna go here and the prices are gonna skyrocket and it's just gonna be over.
I will say, when we went to Costa Rica, we did see a lot of the same. Like, we saw the birds, they were stunning, like from our breakfast view. If you go down to the southern part, the Manuel Antonio Park, we saw sloths in the wild. So
Oh,
I will not knock Costa Rica and the wildlife. You can find it there. This is just another alternative that if people don't want to spend the points on the Andes Papagayo, is almost like a baby step into the Costa Rica lifestyle.
yes. Nope, I'm here for it.
Now, this resort is not all inclusive, which is important to note. You did allude earlier to the fact that the prices for food in the area are really not outrageous. So, you guys, it sounds like you did a mix of on property eating and off property. Overall, the budget doesn't take too much of a hit here with it not being all inclusive.
Yes and no. You have the option. If you want to spend a lot of money on food at the property, you sure can. There's a fancier restaurant in the main hotel area. I think it's pronounced Alera. It looks lovely. We did not eat there. It was your 60, 70, $80 a night steak dinner type style. You know, chicken for 30, 40, $50 depending on the dish. We chose not to eat there. They also, in that same restaurant, have breakfast every morning. The buffet, I think, was one of those like $30 to $35 a person breakfast buffet. We just didn't go that route. Honestly, because we were diving, we were also getting up early. We had packed a bunch of trail mix and protein bars and that kind of stuff and did that for breakfast a couple of mornings, and it held us through until lunch. One of the restaurant that I mentioned where we watched the sunset, that is a separate, more like beach grill vibe.
Mm.
So when we first arrived on the property, we were starving. We hadn't really gotten our bearings yet. We went down there. We split a pizza. It was $20, but it was big enough for us to share. We had leftovers even, and it was manageable. You know,
Yeah.
getting two of us lunch for $25 instead of the crazy prices for a full sit down dinner, like that we were willing to do. So we did. That place is called the Sea Cat.
Cute.
And they've got yeah, their typical salads. We did fall in love with one of their salads that was like watermelon and cucumber and really fresh tomatoes, just for
Mm.
something like you want something light and refreshing on the beach. There were some great options there. And I think that was, $17 maybe. So
Okay.
not crazy, but not cheap necessarily, but affordable. if you walk down the beach, that's where you're going to find some of the more affordable restaurants, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Did you have anything great off property?
Yes. So we found a place that we really liked called the Thirsty Turtle. So this is definitely more like casual bar vibe, but that's where you're getting, a $10 burger that was delightful and yummy. And we got some like local beers, just a much more laid back environment there. They also had pizzas. We did go to one restaurant along the beach too that was a little bit more fancy, but not $80 steak fancy. But so there's a variety along the beach, and it is just riddled with options. So all I would recommend to people is go for your stroll in the afternoon, kind of, scope out some of the restaurants and everything along the way, look at some menus. But we found right on the beach very affordable options.
I love this.
The one word of warning I will say is we got a little bit caught off guard with how a lot of those restaurants coded on our credit cards. A lot of them coded as travel because they were connected in some way to a resort or a property. They did not code as restaurants as we expected.
Did you use your reserve?
So it was very hit or miss. Thankfully, my husband was working on a sub, so it didn't on a sign-up bonus on his World of Hyatt personal card that he had opened a couple months ago. So it didn't really impact us. We probably would have chosen to use that anyway, but that card has 2x on restaurants, and we got 1x because a lot of it coded as travel, and it was very unpredictable. So one or two of them coded as restaurants, one or two of them coded as travel. It seemed very unpredictable.
I feel like that could be really upsetting for anybody who just got the reserves, like saving that travel credit, going to think that they're earning 3 times on dining, and then it not only doesn't, but it drains their travel credit. I would be mad. I realize all your money is eventually going the same place, and it doesn't really matter if you're spending it here or there. But in my head, when I like to put something aside for one specific thing, I don't want it getting used on food.
Well, and if I had used my Elite Strata or my Strata Elite card and expected 6x for city nights or something like that, we were not there on a city nights night because we were there Sunday through Thursday.
Yeah.
But I could see it if people didn't match their expectations of how things were coding, that would cause some people, not distress, but disappointment.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Just a word of caution.
Good to know.
I'll add one more thing about the Thirsty Turtle. They had a great breakfast menu. Anything on the menu was $10. So we got a massive breakfast burrito and split it. This was our one morning we went out to breakfast. And it included juice and coffee.
And the coffee is good in Honduras.
Yes.
I'm not a coffee drinker, but I have been to the places where they get the beans and make the coffee and all of that. And I know I have given it actually as gifts to people, and I know it is very good.
Yes. So delicious coffee, juice, and we each had breakfast, and it was $10.
That's wild.
Wild.
Oh, yes. Man, I've never been more sold on a property. And I actually was. I pulled up the calendar anyways because I was curious. It's super interesting how basically from now through mid-February, the prices are all 50, 60, 70,000s. And then all of a sudden for far out next spring, it jumps up into the hundreds. And I think you're onto something. And I don't see any sold out dates from literally there's 3. June 3rd through 5th is gone, and everything else looks wide open in the 50,000s for the next couple of months. So I would honestly, if people were open to gambling a little bit, grab some flights, have a backup, or maybe, a cap of how much you're willing to spend on points. Even if you don't grab your rooms and you want to just sit on it and watch it, I might keep Costa Rica booked, but also book flights on AA here and have a stash of IHG points hanging around and then just see, like, are we going to pivot 2 months out? Because I don't think I can actually be planning 2 months out just with my husband's work schedule. Like, there's no way that we would actually be able to be like, oh, let's go on a trip in 2 months. But I think there's a little bit of a strategy here with kind of waiting it out until it gets closer. I've never thought about that before because Hyatt is so fixed, but I think you are definitely onto something here.
Yes. And we typically don't book 2 months out either. This was because we had that week blocked. We had another trip planned, and we did exactly that. Canceled everything, canceled flights, everything was refundable, and pivoted to this when I found this and decided that this was going to be closer to home. We were supposed to go to Europe, and I was just, for 5 nights, thought it was going to be too much and just wanted to dive anyway. We were not going somewhere where we could dive. So we just did a pivot, and it worked out amazing.
I am obsessed with this whole thing. So did your status not really get you? There's no free breakfast with status or anything like that?
If you have one level up, so there's Diamond, and that's like, I think more similar to a Hyatt Globalist, and that gets you free breakfast. But as my Platinum Elite sounds fancy, it did not really get us anything.
That's sad. It really sounds extremely fancy.
Yes. And I think it could potentially get you a room upgrade. But again, we were, maybe because we booked a bungalow and there aren't really fancier bungalows, or I don't know exactly. If you booked a standard in the main tower, maybe you would get upgraded to an ocean view, for example. But we didn't push for anything and weren't offered anything.
I feel like sometimes it gets you a little welcome amenity, a welcome gift. You know, maybe in your room, they leave some strawberries or something of that nature a lot of times.
Yep.
Well, what would you say your overall favorite thing about this trip was? If you kind of had to reflect on it and think, what was my absolute favorite thing about it? What would it be?
Yes. Well, the diving was absolutely incredible. So we did an old shipwreck of a sunken cargo freighter. So we could swim through it. It's this massive 230-foot ship that we got to like go in and everything. So all of the diving was great. My heart was so happy. We saw so many little turtles, and turtles are like my happy place. I don't know, just watching them swim through the water so calmly and cute, just lovely. But aside from the diving, I think it was just the overall vibe was so welcoming, so chill. The glorious beach, like we spent minimum 2 hours a day walking around and just exploring, walking up and down the beach. We took a water taxi. One day we walked so far down the beach, we took a water taxi back. So that's a fun option. And it is actually more affordable than taking a land taxi. So it was $10 for us to hop in a boat.
That's so cool.
And take a water taxi all the way back down to the resort after we had walked like 2 hours and just popped in little shops or popped in and had a drink somewhere, that kind of stuff. And we loved it. There's cute things all over. Like if you're on the beach, there's people out there with little canoe-looking boats that have coconuts in them. So you don't even have to get out of the water, and they'll come up and sell you a coconut with fresh coconut water in it.
Yep.
Or sell you a drink if you want a, alcoholic cocktail or something like that. So there were people, we would be walking down and we're like, you have been in the ocean for 4 hours. We know you have not gotten out. We've seen you. We've been walking back and forth. And you're just in here drinking your coconuts and having the time of your life. Like,
oh my God.
Just the vibe overall. Everyone was so nice. We ate our jerk chicken till our heart's content. Like, it was just lovely.
What is the cash situation? Do you feel like you needed to exchange currency? Did you feel like you could literally tap anywhere? Is this a tipping culture or a not tipping culture? Tell us the vibes here.
That is a great question. So I was very confused when I got my first check at a restaurant. So don't get confused like me. They have everything listed in US dollars, but then below it, they also have it listed in Honduran. So there's a suggested tip line. And if you're looking at both of them, you don't know kind of how it all lines up. So just make sure you're focusing on one section. The first time I did it, I accidentally tipped in Honduran, but they charged me in US. So it looked like I tipped $1,000, and I did not. But so just something to look out for. All of them that we went to had a suggested 10% tip on there.
Oh,
And so it is not a required, it's not as standard as here, but that was listed, I think, on every single place. Suggested tip, and it said 10%, and it told you what that amount was. So it was very easy for us just to follow that. I was going off their suggestion. We used card everywhere except for like tipping the people who helped us with our bag to our room, tipping, a few things here and there. We had some US dollars, but we did not convert any money. We used some of the cash that we had brought from the US, and that was totally fine.
okay. That's great. That's how we do it when we go to Mexico, and it's so easy, and I love knowing that you can do the exact same thing.
This whole property sounds incredible. Tell us about leaving. Did that $50 that you paid for the shuttle from the airport include, was that round trip? So when you were leaving and going back to the airport, did you have to pay another $50? Or tell us about that. And then just the airport experience. A lot of people are wondering, are there any lounges, or is it a very small airport with no lounge access, that kind of thing?
Yes. So it was the same cost again to get the trip back. They told you, based on their experience, what time the shuttle would leave. So I think our flight was at noon, and they told us, 9 a.m. we'll be leaving. We thought that was a little early, but when we were leaving, we were driving past the cruise port, and this is a very popular cruise spot. So there was a ton of traffic, and they probably knew that and anticipated that based on the timing of when the ships come in. So if you are driving yourself and you're leaving, I would check the cruise schedules, because I don't think there was another option for us to drive a different way. It's one of those islands where there's a road around the outside of the island and maybe a couple that cross at certain spots, but it was basically apparent that we had to go this way, and we did experience quite a bit of a traffic jam on the way to the airport. So I think if we hadn't known that and hadn't gotten that heads up from the property on setting the time for us, there might be some people, especially if you're trying to, return a rental car, anything like that. If it is a day that a cruise ship is coming in, buffer extra time.
Very, very good to know.
Yes. And then the airport itself is teeny tiny itty bitty. So do not expect lounges. There was like a little food court, or not even a court, a food cart that was serving some like tacos and quesadillas, that kind of thing in the airport once you got through security, but very minimal. So I would expect to eat ahead of time, unless you're fine, going through with some snacks. There were snacks to purchase, but it is not a very robust experience once you get through security. I think there was 5 gates maybe.
Oh, wow.
And very small, very small. And you got to walk across the tarmac to get on your flight. So you're doing one of those outside, climbing the stairs up to the
I
up to
kind
the
of
flight.
love those. I've only done that
Yes.
once.
Yes. So just some heads up for planning the departure adventures. Just
I
something.
think it's always good to ask the locals. I mean, you obviously were on a shuttle, so you had really no time. But when on, especially Caribbean islands and things, I remember when we were in St. Kitts, they were telling us how early to get to the airport. And I thought, that's so early. I'm just used to, I guess, airports where security is pretty efficient and it's made to handle a lot of people. I don't know. And sometimes I cut it a little close with getting to airports. I'm like, oh, I'll breeze through security. I remember we went to St. Kitts and we got to the airport way earlier than we thought we needed to be. And security was so backed up. I've never spent longer waiting to go through security, but it was just small, and a lot of the flights, it was maybe a Saturday when a lot of the flights leave. And so there were just, it was really, the airport was maxed out with people. So I definitely learned Listen to the locals. They know exactly when every flight comes and goes from the island. Like you said, with the cruise ships, I'm sure they know those schedules so well.
All right. Well, I feel like we've talked about some strategies to get the points and the free nights with, cards. Is there anything else you would suggest? I don't know a lot about it, but I also feel like people say that sometimes during sales, buying IHG points is super affordable. Have you ever done that?
So I have, not a large quantity, but just to top off. So if
Mm-hmm.
you buy when they are half a cent each, I think it could be a very viable situation. Obviously, you just have to do the math and make sure that it's going to be saving you money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the other option here is most of the nights, well, more expensive than I would pay in cash, like $300 to $400 a night range. It could be a great use of Capital One if you want to just erase that cost or look at booking through a portal. I this is one where I would look at all the options. I think
Yeah.
there's that Chase Sapphire Reserve that is for especially for 2026 with that additional $250 hotel credit. This would be a great spot for that.
Yeah.
I just think that there's a lot of options. It's probably not the most value to transfer your ultimate rewards to IHG, so that would be a last resort, in my opinion. But there's plenty of ways that you could get to this property and make it very affordable.
Absolutely. Oh, this is, man, you know what I'm doing as soon as I get off here. Research, clicky clacking. I'm so excited. I wish that I could get a card right now because I have finished all of my sign up bonuses and I'm not working on one. But I was just denied for the venture business because I'm trying to move too quick for Capital One. So, Lord, give me strength and patience. That's all I can say.
Jen, where are you guys heading next?
Yes. So summers are usually our time to stay home. It's lovely in Wisconsin in the summer, but we have our next trip with the kids. We are going to San Antonio for fall break. So we're doing 2 nights at the Hyatt Regency on the Riverwalk and then 2 nights out
Oh,
at Hyatt
fun.
Hill Country to get they have a new lagoon and a bunch of water activities and stuff there. So a little bit of a balance of city and relaxing by the water. And then over the holidays, we're going to the Hyatt Regency Aruba for a family vacation with my kids and then my best friend and her family. So it'll be 9 of us.
So fun. So fun. Did you get your best friend into points too?
I did, yes. And so we have our flights back booked for that. We have everything. I just got to get flights there. But I think we are gonna have a good time. Her teenage sons, I'm like, okay, there'll be some activities like some deep sea fishing and some things that you guys will like, outside of just what my younger kids will like there. So it should be a good
Yes.
balance.
We are not going to get too far into it, but you did mention taking your family back to this property potentially. So I'm assuming you felt like it was a very kid-friendly vibe on the property.
Yes, it was. We saw some kids. There were not a lot of kids. So I think it could
Okay.
easily fit like a great girlfriend's trip or couples trip. But there were children there and it was very, I think, accepting of children, and there was plenty that my kids would love. The pools, it would be hard to get them out of, I'm sure, but they love the beach. They would love the animal sanctuary. So I think there would be plenty to do with them here.
Absolutely. You guys, I'm going to put all the important things in the show notes. You know where to go find them. And if you have never taken the time to leave us a rating and or a review, especially on Apple Podcasts, we would really appreciate that. It helps the algorithm send us out to more families just like you who want to learn how to stretch their points and travel more for less. So thank you, Jen, so much for being here with us today.
Of course. Happy to talk to you always. Always lovely.
So excited to meet you in person in
I know.
April.
Yes.
It's going to be amazing. All right, guys, we'll see you here next time. Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to plan your next trip.
Remember, we're travelers sharing our experiences, not financial advisors, so always do your own research and make informed decisions.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you never miss a Points and Miles tip.
We'll see you next time on Wonderland on Points.